Live fitter and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Koehler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Koehler.
Hi team, I'm Fitz Koehler, your fitness expert and very noisy race announcer from Fitzness.com, and I am super excited about my guest today because it is the other half, my other half of Team Noisy, Rudy Novotny's Sober-versary, which is I am. I'm not talking too good right now, which I am super excited about because it's only for the fact that this man has committed to sobriety and health for the past 35 years that I get to work with him, because had it not been for that decision 35 years ago, there's no way he would be in my life, and he certainly wouldn't be in your life. And as many of you know, he means so much. He's been doing race announcing for decades, and he's a runner for decades. And he's my favorite race announcer, but just one of those decent human beings that spends so much time taking care of and giving back to others. And, there's a reason there's a group of people called the Rudettes out there, because he's just beloved. And I met Rudy, like many of you did, at the races at Run Disney. And I was fortunate to meet him at the end of a Tower of Terror race. And I just remember sitting there on the asphalt. I had Achilles tendonitis, so I couldn't run. But I got to sit at a finish line listening to him. And I was laughing for hours on end. And I thought, I like this guy. He's really neat. And then the next morning when I was checking out of my hotel, I ran into him and I went, "You're Rudy." And I think the story goes, I ran up and gave him an inappropriate hug, because that's what I do. I hit him with a hug and I was like, "Hi, I'm Fitz." And we exchanged business cards. I said, I think I wanted to interview him for my website, which totally never happened. But fortunately, we hit it off as friends, and I was teaching clinics for Run Disney, and he was tasked with the job of introducing me before each of my clinics, and we just hit it off. We hit it off great. He thought I was a great speaker, and of course, I thought he was the God's gift to race announcing, and I didn't even know that was a thing until I met Rudy. But fortunately, in 2014, he invited me to announce a race with him, and it's been history. We've been Team Noisy ever since, and I'm so fortunate to have him in my life. So enough about me, but I just wanted to start with the introduction because he's special to me. I know he's special to you. He wrote the foreword to my book, and he just is a guy who keeps on giving. But I'm excited to delve into his sobriety and his life before sobriety, and a whole bunch of other stuff that he's not expecting. So without further ado, the man of the hour, happy birthday, Rudy Novotny.
Thank you, Fitz. What a nice introduction. I was doing fine up until the whole bunches of things that I don't know about coming up.
Reminder, or at least I'll enjoy.
Okay, I'm sure I will. It's been a really fun day. A lot of love from a lot of really nice people, and of course, including yourself. And but I'm a little concerned, Fitz, because I've been following all your broadcasts. We had Meb Kefletsky, Michael Wardian, and today you must have really run out, because now you've got an alcoholic drug addict on your.
I saved the best for last. This won't be.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that's very sweet. Well, thank you very much. It's great to be on here. You harass me regularly, and today for me is very, very special, and it means a lot for me to be able to reach out or just kind of be part of my own celebration. 35 years is a long time, but as we say in the program, and really is true, we only have today. It's really about today. So, I try to celebrate each and every day. We don't look back, we look forward. And so far, it's been a great day.
Wow. That means time. he getting a weird? Are you getting a strange?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Hold on one second. Let me change. I'm sorry for the people listening. Maybe a change in earbud will fix this problem. I'm Rudy's tech guy, by the way. So
Yes, she is. How sad.
Has that?
That's better. That's much better.
All right, hold on. We're gonna pepper you with happy birthday messages. Shelly Villalobos, Cliff Walker,
Shelly Villalobos,
mystery user, Dennis Ledman. So much love for you, Jennifer Niles. The perfect end to her weekend. We love you back.
So nice. Thanks, Jen.
Shelly, one day at a time. So, all right, I was thrown off by the technical glitch. So, with your sobriety, you know, it's you and I have spoken about this plenty, but I am the child of a drug addict. So my father was a prescription drug addict, and that was a nightmare. I mean, it just living with someone in the house who does drugs or alcohol is an absolute nightmare. And so I didn't actually believe that people got sober. You know, it took forever. My dad tried, my mom shoved him into rehab, and it never ever worked. And so I really didn't believe that people got sober. And so your nickname is
the Yeti.
It's the Yeti. That's right. I call Rudy the Yeti because I didn't even believe this type of person exists. So 35 years. It is out of all the things I love about you, which are endless, it's my favorite thing about you. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, Fitz. I'm the son of an alcoholic. So I'm the oldest of 6. You may know some of these things, but some of the viewers will. The oldest of 6. My mother was an alcoholic. My mom and dad are passed now. My mom was an alcoholic, and being the oldest, it was particularly difficult because my father would turn to me and say, you know, my father was a bank president, bank executive in New York, and we lived in New Jersey, so he was commuting on the train regularly. And when my mom had an episode, which was routine for quite a while in my youth, my dad would always look to me as the little man. You're my, you know, and I didn't know what to do. My mother would be either in the hospital or in some form of care after an episode. And so it is devastating. Addiction is a family disease, and it affects everyone in the family, friends. It really has no boundaries. And, and I was very affected. I was, always trying to rally my brothers and sisters and, okay, let's clean the house. I never knew what the right thing to do was, but so that we both grew up in the same type of environment.
Yeah. And so your mother's addiction was alcohol.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she struggled with that for many years. She did get clean and sober after a point.
She did. And she did get sober, and she became very, very active in AA. She's a fantastic speaker. My mom took no prisoners. You got away with nothing with my mom. I reached out to my sister yesterday because I can't remember how long a period of sobriety my mom had. It was substantial before her passing. I'm thinking somewhere in the area of 30 years plus, somewhere around there. So I hope she's proud of me today. I'm sure she would be. But the issue with my mom's alcoholism was it was undiagnosed, and my dad's best efforts were to turn it over to medical professionals. And it was more, and my mom's alcoholism, which of course now my vision on that was 2020. I had no idea what was going on. My mom was having what seemed like manic depressive episodes, at which time she would drink. Not that she would drink and have this craziness. So my mom was subjected to all kinds of drug regimens, shock therapy, and things that are just archaic and, not at all the way we treat addiction of any kind anymore. I mean, there may be, drug therapy in part, I can understand, but this was, now when I look at it now and think about what she went through, and what we as a family went through, was pretty horrific.
Yeah. Technologies in science, information certainly does benefit us in the long run. So you knew your mother was an alcoholic, though, at some point in your teenage years, correct?
Yeah, I'll never forget when I'll never forget when my dad brought us all together to make the big announcement that we finally know what's wrong with my mom. We know what's wrong with your mother, and we know now that she's an alcoholic. And there really, the light came on, and it just, and then we started working together as a family toward doing anything we could as a family to help her with that. And, we found bottles everywhere.
Wow.
It was, just addicts get very, very creative in hiding or their attempts to hide their addiction.
Right. Now, how old were you when you had that meeting?
I believe I was about 16.
So when did you start drinking and abusing drugs? Because you did both.
So I grew up in New Jersey, and back in the day, the drinking age was 18. So therefore, the drinking age was about 15, 16 with a little scruff.
Right.
And I loved beer, and beer was my gateway. And I loved music. I was in a band, and there was, at the time, I couldn't think of any more fun than playing music and drinking with friends. And I think probably the writing was on the wall very early for me. I didn't know it, but if people were around me looking, I probably displayed it. Hey, Joey. I displayed a lot of alcoholic behavior very, very early. And then it was probably a couple years after I started drinking that started hanging out with one of my buddies, and he introduced me to I believe, I was trying to think about it the other day when I knew we were going to do this. I think it was hash. It wasn't marijuana, it was hash, which is a smokable, very concentrated smokable form of, and I won't say marijuana, somebody will correct me on it. It's a different substance, same type of intoxicant.
Okay.
And I think from the very first time I took a breath on that pipe, I was changed. That was not all I wanted to do, but that was a focus. That was so much fun.
So let me backtrack a bit. And so from one kid of an addict to another, so with my dad, I became repulsed. I mean, I wouldn't take Tylenol or Advil as a kid because I wanted nothing to be like he was. Did you ever have that moment where you thought, I don't want to do what mom does? Or how did that work?
That's a great question. I think I had a lot of anger and resentment. Wow, this is going to be really therapeutic. You can bill me for this when we're done.
I will.
I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of anger and resentment. Perhaps some of my youth was being stolen. Right. We could go with a lot of different places. I had to pick up the wreckage of my mom's benders. I think I might have shared with you, one of the sites that, is in here to this day was pulling out of, we had a beautiful ranch home, and pulling out of the home, going down a private street, and headed down the road and seeing your mother hitchhiking because she was drunk and at least knew enough not to drive, at least at that time. I believe my mom did have several DUIs that my dad got her out of because my dad knew law enforcement very well and somehow worked through things. But yeah, it was really difficult, and I think I certainly love my mom. It was hard times. It was very hard, and of course I didn't have any problems, so I just looked at hers, and my friend Dana from Rocket City. We're gonna have so much fun this year.
You're getting so much love here. Audio is not my friend right now. Damn it. Let me go back here.
Sure.
Do you?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that was, and my siblings are coming to me and looking for direction or looking for, some kind of validation of what they're doing. We were very much on our own. My mom did her best. She did her best with what she had and with all the love in the world. Even when my mom became sober, 6 kids was way too many. And
yeah. It's so interesting. You have such a kindness in your heart for your mom. I've fostered a long time resentment for my father's antics and his drug abuse, but you're always very, very sweet on her.
Well, I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. I get it. I can't, I'm not going to blame her. I'm not going to, there's no blame. There's just love. And what she did, well, I mean, she was so instrumental in the sobriety of so many people through AA, and not just through speaking, but she sponsored, I don't know how many women. Awesome. And therefore, and boy, this is an unexpected benefit. This is very therapeutic. My mom would get calls all hours, all day long, and they were from people she sponsored. And then, of course, she would go to meetings all the time. She would speak all the time at meetings. She would travel to speak. So my mom was unavailable as an alcoholic, and in recovery, while we were all happy for her, she wasn't much more available. And so it was interesting times.
So alcohol, and then how did your drug and alcohol abuse progress?
It progressed rather quickly. I'm a very curious type of person, and I have, and I'm an addict, and that extends to, addictive personalities very often have very little bounds. I mean, I have to be very careful with things that aren't problematic for me, and I know I'm going off, but I'll come back. I have fun playing slot machines and gambling. Gambling addiction is horrible. It's horrific. It tears families apart, and it just ruins people financially and causes such a high level of suicide that it's not known for being as deadly and horrific as it is, but it is. So anyway, so it's a matter of what was next. Gosh, hash is fun. Then we started smoking grass. I love music. So my life was going to school as little as possible and playing music and going to concerts. And we'd go to concerts every weekend. Now, I grew up in New Jersey, so almost every weekend Bruce Springsteen was playing somewhere. So we'd go to concerts, and the music was wonderful, but it became, for me, about getting high and the music experience. They were interlinked. It was short time before, and I was working construction for quite a while, and I was working really long hours. And one of the guys at the job said, "Hey, if you ever need any help on anything that'll keep you moving and keep you grooving, just go to Dr. So and So in Asbury Park. Just tell him that you're really sleepy and you're having a hard time with your energy levels. Take great care of you. So I started using bifetamines very shortly thereafter. I got it. You just walked in, you got a prescription, you paid for it, and it was just a mill. It was a mill just like we've heard about in Florida and across the United States. And I started using amphetamines, speed, and I was using an oral form. So I was just taking pills. Somehow that's okay. It's not getting your arm out and all the terrible things we see and the stigma of all that. It was just, it was the housewife taking mother's little helpers. Well, Rudy had his pills. Did that for a while. And then I think shortly after that, cocaine came into my life. And first couple lines of cocaine were transformative. Those were.
Who offered that to you? How'd you get that?
I think it was just the same group of friends that I was hanging out with, playing music with, and we were burning the candle at both ends. And hey, if you think you like your amphetamines, check this out. This will keep you up, and it's fun, and you'll love everybody.
Did you hesitate?
No, I don't think I did. I just think I was just ready to try it all. And that cocaine grabbed me hard, and cocaine became my drug of choice. In the program, we have a lot of little cliches and little sayings that when people ask about drug of choice, and while cocaine was my drug of choice was actually whatever you had at the time was going to be just fine. But cocaine was wow. It grabbed me, and once I started, I was off and running, and my focus became very, very, very singular, and that's really all I cared about. An addict wakes up in the morning feeling like garbage from the night before, and what's gonna pick you up and straighten you out? Another couple lines. So it becomes your focus of doing and then acquiring it. And then, of course, the side note is how I managed to do these things was selling drugs. So I was buying pounds of marijuana and selling it to friends, and it wasn't really selling because it was just taking care of your friends. And so the whole cycle of not just addiction but of drug use came front and center and became one of the most important things in my life. So cocaine was a huge problem, a very, very big problem.
So what do you remember? And actually, do you mind picking up the phone and taking the link I sent you and logging in here with your phone? I think it's your computer that's causing this.
Okay.
We'll just switch it over.
Okay.
Thanks to everybody for the slow little intermission. I want to hear what he has to say. It's funny. Let's see if that works.
Well, don't tell me I'm going to have a.
Actually, I feel like it's kind of going away now. Leave it alone.
Okay.
I haven't. So you start doing drugs at 16,
mm-hmm.
And how long do you continue to do that for?
Well, I'm 67, and this is my 35th anniversary. So I was going strong until 32. And actually, that's not totally accurate. I got clean and sober. This is my second sobriety, my second period of sobriety. My drug addiction got so bad that my wife asked me to leave the house. She asked me to leave. She was participating, but there's the difference between functional and non-functional and addicted and an addiction. So she managed to hold her job down. something that I did is I started my own business during all of this, which is very challenging for an addict because, hold on, work or do drugs? That's a very easy one to figure out and to choose. But she, it's a spiral that just went right downhill. She asked me to leave. I did. I ended up staying with some friends here and there. And I actually ended up staying in my drug dealer's home. And as terrible as that was because of availability and because, it was the worst place for me to be, I ended up doing another drug that brought me down so fast that that in a way I guess today I can say, hindsight, I'm glad it happened. And that was freebase cocaine, which is essentially, for lack of a better term, I'll say it's similar to crack. We didn't call it crack back then, we called it freebase. It's essentially the same thing. And I will never forget when I took the first couple puffs out of that pipe, and I'm unable to describe the euphoric feeling that took place. That probably should have been enough to scare me away, but it did not. And I found a new form of drug that was just all I mean, it was just the most incredible form of cocaine that I'd ever experienced. And of course, you don't want to eat. I think I weighed about 155 pounds. I looked like hell. And
you're 6 feet tall.
And I'm sorry?
6 feet tall.
I'm 6 feet tall. Yeah. It looked horrible. And I'm sure, and I guess my dad and mom got word that things were bad. They called my wife. She said that, that she'd kick me out. And then they asked how to reach me. And then we didn't have cell phones back then. Okay. So she asked how to reach me. And my wife knew this is probably where he is. And he called my drug dealer's home. And she picked it up and said, "Your dad for you." And I heard my dad's voice, and my dad just said, "Son, what's happening?" And my dad was such a gentle soul. And at that moment was a moment of clarity. And at that time, it was the clouds lifting for literally just a moment that allowed me to see that my life was completely out of control, that I was dying, and that if I did not change my behavior, I was doomed to the three things that addicts face: jails, institutions, and death. Those are the sure ends. And my dad just said, "Son, come home and we'll send you a ticket." And I think I was out the next day. And I think everybody was alarmed. So I got home to New Jersey, and everybody was, alarmed at how I looked. They were very loving. It was hugs and we're happy to see you. And that night, there was a knock on the door, and there was a group of four young people within a couple years of my age to take me to an AA meeting. And I remember thinking, this is awesome. I surrendered. That's a very important, I had that moment of clarity, and I just knew that this couldn't go on. I didn't, and it's, when we think about addiction and we think about a moment of clarity, how much more did you need to have put in front of you? We don't see addicts, we don't see things in the normal way. You have no job, you have no money, your wife has kicked you out of the house, you have no prospects, your health is pretty bad.
Yeah.
And you don't see, we just don't, and still my focus is getting high. That's what it was all about. So I went to that first AA meeting in the evening and met these wonderful people. We went out to, dinner and coffee after, and it was just, I felt accepted. I felt part of something. It was incredible. It was very, very powerful, very incredible. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm in the right place. And that went on for about 3 months. And it was every afternoon and every evening going to AA or Cocaine Anonymous CA or Narcotics Anonymous NA. We just went to all the different meetings. I had some favorite ones and some favorite people. And it was really, it saved my life. It saved my life. And I got clean and sober, and I held on to that for about 2 years. And then I relapsed. And I'm sorry?
How did that happen?
I think I just, I got bored. Any relapse is terrible. A drug's a drug. Whether I started drinking or I started smoking dope or doing cocaine or whatever, it's all a relapse. It makes no difference. But my relapse, of course, had to be something different or special. So I wasn't going to drink because I'm an alcoholic and I knew that. And I wasn't going to smoke dope because I knew that was a drug too. And I shouldn't do that. But damn, I couldn't stay away from coke. So yeah, so really, I've got about 37, 38 years off of alcohol and the others. But anyway, one of the truisms that we discuss in the 12-step programs is, and this is really scary, and this is one of the things that keeps me sober today. If we decide to pick up and use again, essentially where we are is not, it's square one again. We're back where we were.
Right.
All that clean time, whatever you amassed, for me, it'd be 35 years, that's gone. And addiction is so powerful that it will grab you and take you right back where you were in a heartbeat. So, that's one of the, that thought and the belief in that concept keeps me very, very straight and connected.
So would you say you?
I'm sorry, Fitz, one more time.
I need you to call, or I need you to log in from. Sorry, guys. This is amazing, Rudy. Yeah, and as we're waiting for Rudy, if you guys who are watching, if you'll use the comments section, let us know whether you have addiction in your family. You don't have to out anyone specifically, but if you yourself have had issues, or you've had family members, if you've been affected, you can say I've been affected. I think we'll see a bunch of hands go up here. It's hard to avoid it from what I found.
Hey, my tech person, I don't see.
Okay, it's okay. It's subsiding a little. I don't really understand it. This is unique for us, so we don't know technical issues, do we? So, do you stay sober, do you think, because you really love being sober, or because you're afraid of what the other life looks like?
Well, I love being sober because I can function and I can enjoy all there is to life. There's so many wonderful things to do. And I know those will all be gone in a heartbeat. If I love these comments. These comments are let me explain another part of the fear. And fear is, as you know, fear is a very powerful motivator. I don't know that I have another recovery. The fact that I was able to recover again after relapse is miraculous. Relapsing and using is what addicts do. So it's not surprising. When I hear someone, even, someone with 20, 25, 30 years or whatever going out and using again, it's unfortunate, but it's what we do if we're not if we're not careful, we don't stay close to the program, have the support we need, work the steps, and stay active in our own head in what we need to do day to day. And so I really don't know that I do, and I'm not going to risk that. No. I don't. There's just so much to lose. One of the things I'm most grateful for is that neither of my children had ever met the addict. They only know me sober and clean, and for that I'm eternally grateful. It's a family disease, and children suffer as you did and as you shared so much that's one of my largest bins of gratitude is they never had to be affected by that. So a couple of years of running again and doing the same stuff, and being financially, physically, emotionally completely irresponsible. And running through it. Okay, for all the people that are on here, running using cocaine, not a good idea.
You run fast.
No. but I thought I was, or I felt like, I was getting some benefit from it, or I was rewarding my hard training by using afterwards. It's just, look, it's to anybody who might be listening, if it sounds insane, it is. It's all insane. Using is insane. And and so it was crazy. And I was on a long run, and my ex-wife, my wife at the time, Nancy, saw me out on the coast running in San Diego, and pulled up next to me and said she needed to talk to me. And we were together, by the way. We were back together. She accepted me back, and was very grateful for that. And she told me she had something she needed to talk to me about, and in essence, that was like, I'm going to become a dad. And I remember I actually said, "This is a good thing, right?" How pitiful, but I did. I was a mess, but I was so excited, and then we had my daughter Jenna, and Jenna was born Valentine's Day, 1986, and my clean date is June 13th, 1986. And one of the biggest benders I had was the evening she was born. My wife stayed in the hospital. My daughter was born. I was so excited. It was wonderful. It was just the most wonderful gift I've ever had. But that night I got a whole bunch of coke and went on and just stayed home and went on a crazy bender. And then thankfully, and I honestly don't remember the next moment of clarity like I did the first one I shared, but thank God I came to realize that I've got to, there's another person in my life, and I want to be around for that. And I want her to be able to respect and admire me, and I want to be able to provide for her and my family. And I just put it down. I just cold turkey put it down. Started going to meetings more intensely, and that difference between February 14th and June 13th was the start of the sobriety. So
incredible.
Yeah, it's a wonderful gift. It's the best gift I've ever received, and I'm just because again, the three alternatives: jails, institution, and death. I have absolutely no doubt, none whatsoever, that I would be dead. I was headed in that direction. Jails and institutions, that wouldn't have happened. I was headed to an early grave. And but here I am.
But there you are. So you have this gift of yourself. Janet and Jason, I think they're the biggest recipients of your sobriety. And then there's like a bazillions of people like me and all of our viewers who couldn't imagine life without your big smile and your big voice and all your kindness and compassion and charisma. It's you and I have talked about this many times, but it's still almost impossible for me to wrap my head around one of the healthiest people I know doing this chaotically unhealthy thing. And what were you like? Were you angry? Were you excitable? Were you just lazy? What was? I
was like the life of the party, but not really. Inside, what you saw inside and what was presented were two completely different things. I was afraid. I was lonely in the crowd. I was manic. I was the drummer for a band that did gigs that ended up, this is a sad story, that ended up having to have a backup drummer and singer that could be there for the second half of the gig. And now these are small things. These are parties and, this. It was still, but hey, that's not a problem. I'm just having fun. So, it was crazy. And, and I was the singer. I had Jim Morrison down. I thought I was Jim Morrison from the Doors. Come on, baby, light my fire.
Just so everybody knows, if the iPad doesn't work at a race and we're not pulling up a live performance of the anthem, Mr. Novotny, you don't even have to ask him. He's just like, "Oh, say."
Well, we know 2 times that it's happened. So, and everybody survived. I've heard of no hearing loss or dramatic emotional effect.
Well, I think the last time you sang was at Carlsbad Marathon, which was immediately after I sang "Happy Birthday" to you off key in the worst. I mean, that's the 2 hardest songs in the English language tone wise. So I brutalized the crowd. Happy birthday. And you did a really good job with the anthem, and you sing it like a little differently. You put your own twist on it. But I was behind you, and because you started singing so fast, I was behind you like bursting out laughing because I was so surprised. And then all of a sudden I thought, oh wow, there's all these cameras. I need to be professional. But it was magnificent. It was really good. You're actually a very good singer.
Okay, so just for anybody who's listening, I need to make a correction. Okay, she wasn't behind me. She was right on the side of me, and I was singing, doing my best, and seeing her laughing and smiling. It wasn't even as much laughing. It was like, oh my God.
Amazing. It was amazing. What was I supposed to do?
It was, yeah. Oh, that was fun. That was fun. Good times. And
never ending good times. So you get sober, you get clean and sober. And again, that's my favorite thing that you are. You have so many good qualities, even amazing qualities. Good is a rude word to use for you. But your sobriety is my favorite thing. It's such a gift, and you're such a great role model. So when did you go from sober to race announcing?
Okay, let me consider. Let me just look at timelines. Okay, I've been sober my whole race announcing career. I've been doing this just short of 25 years, and so there was never any. I didn't need a break to do a couple lines. So I was, I had amassed probably about 10 years of sobriety when I started working with In Motion and my friends at Carlsbad Marathon, America's Finest City Half, and La Jolla Half Marathon. And and I started with them as a volunteer, some 30 some years ago. They had they kind of like Big Sur has the Blue Jackets, the executive volunteer directors. I was one of those, and I admired my buddy Michael Curran, who was the race announcer at the time. And Michael was really, really good. He's an attorney, and he just seemed to be having so much fun. So I think really what I did is I slowly crept up to the microphone, working with him. Yeah, and he said, "Come on," and he mentored me. He was my mentor, and a super fun guy. We had a blast, and I just I learned that this was a very joyous thing. It was I found out it was part of who I am. And like you, I just love the mass connection to so many people, and people were very, they were very accepting, and people were liking what I was doing, and just, one thing led to another, and I got more opportunity, and then I met this bossy blonde later on down the line. Oh my gosh, and here we are today. But I was about 10 years clean and sober before I actually started doing work, announcing, and been at it ever since.
So 10 years, and then how? Clearly you were running and doing drugs, but how did your running take off once you got sober? Because you became one hell of a runner.
I don't know about one hell of a runner, but I was
a marathon.
I'm middle of the pack. I was able to focus, and here's the thing about the addictive personality. Okay, I just changed my addiction, and I became addicted to running. Yeah. And running is healthy; it's a good thing. It provides a lot of very positive things, unless it's taken to a negative level. Okay, so. Did I manage that? Of course I did. I had my own.
Go on.
I had my own business, and hell, if I needed to go do a 15, 20 mile or whatever, I'd go do that. I mean, it was never anything like drugs, but it was just I allowed it to control me to a point until I realized what was. I realized I was a little more together, so I was realizing, hey, this is not okay, and I just needed to get a grip on what my running was about, what it was about for me, and if I was going to continue it and be competitive, at least in my age group or whatever I wanted to do, I had to become normal with it. I had to have limits. I had to create limits and live by those limits. And my running took off. I was really doing well. I was having a great time running Big Sur, running races in Mexico, anything from 5K to half marathon to marathon, and just having a great time and, doing pretty well. I in my head, I was in that sub 3 hour quest. The Holy Grail was sub 3 hours. And in 1986, I towed the line at the Big Sur Marathon, and I ran 2:58:23. Now 24 or 22. And that was significant to me in many, many ways. It was, I'd actually created a,
hold on one second. Dennis nailed it in dolphin shorts.
Oh, you know what, Dennis? That would be correct.
Really, really. Dolphin shorts, red ones, just so everyone's clear.
Dennis, I will get even for this, Dennis. I will get even. But yeah, I had set a goal. I had created a plan to make that goal, and it was a reasonable goal. I looked at my times and for 5K and 10K and half marathon, and they all said sub 3 hours, but they actually said 2:45. 245, 248. And I said, you're crazy. 259.59 would be perfect.
Right.
So anyway, so I had that wonderful day. My family was there, and it was spectacular. And I think it really set me up for it set my running up for other goals, and to be able to have some longevity in a running career, which isn't a career, but it kept me close to the community. And
so what's your favorite part about being sober? What makes you proudest?
I'm sorry, Fitz, one more time.
What is your favorite part about being sober? What makes you proudest?
I guess what makes me proudest about being sober is being able to function and serve that others might be able to find their own recovery in some way, shape, or form. I'm not as active in any of the programs as perhaps I should be, and I've been giving that some more thought. Maybe in the next few years, maybe, who knows, down the line, I might get into an area of service more. I think I have something to give.
Yeah.
But it's enabled me to have this wonderful career where I've just met so many amazing people, and the feedback and what I get from them is that I'm important to them. And so I guess the best thing about my sobriety is that I'm alive, and I can be part of a community of people that is absolutely unmatched, and you can't find. I believe you can't find anywhere else. Triathlon has a wonderful community, and there's others, but the running community is special.
I couldn't agree more. And I'm getting the technical issue again, which kills me. So I have some questions for you.
Okay.
Oh, does it bother you to be around people who are drinking?
Oh, no, not at all. No, not at all. And I have alcohol in my home to serve for people that come over. We have dinners, and I have wine, I have beer, and that's not an issue. That's me. Okay. I'm not suggesting that necessarily for anybody. Okay. But that's, my program is fine. I'm fine with that. I can function with that. I can't have any of the other things that we've talked about in my house.
Right. Coke on the counter.
No. And I would have to remove myself from anywhere that I was, just because I don't, why risk? I don't want to risk. As I said, and I really mean that, I don't know that I have another recovery. So, and this, and the one I have right now is working really well. I don't want to risk it. So good question. That's a great question. And that one is asked often of addicts and alcoholics.
Yeah.
Here's wait a minute, before you go into the next one, here's the problem. Here's one of the problems is all the best beers and all the best tequilas have been developed since San Diego, the heart of home brewing, or I should say home brewing, microbrewing. And it's one of the hearts in the United States. There's microbrews everywhere. And there's, it's like I can think about some of the, not so much tequila, but some of the beers that I used to really enjoy. That I was a Guinness person, dark Guinness, or St. Pauli Girl Dark, or Beck's Dark. I can actually taste them just thinking about it. So I don't need to drink it. I don't need to do any of that.
So it's been like 25 years since I've had beef, but I can still taste a burger. I can taste what a Burger King burger tastes like, and I know what an Outback steak tastes like.
Okay.
I got it. All right. So Rudy, can you say the word milk for me?
Milk.
As opposed to
milk.
Yeah. All right. Here's another important question. It's a bad one. What is a nickname for when men wear white underwear?
What is a nickname?
For when men wear tight underwear. White underwear, sorry. Oh,
you're mean. Those are tidy whities.
They're not tidy, like T-I-D-Y. They're not clean, tidy whities.
No, I got it.
Just checking. What's the best part about race announcing with me?
I can take breaks because you refuse to.
That's right.
Oh, come on. You're just this ball of energy. Certainly I'm getting older. It would be dishonest of me to say that I have the same energy levels that I used to. I just don't. It's just and living in the real world. And you are just so absolutely joyous and unabashed. Anything will come out of Fitz Koehler's mouth, but you can trust us, race directors, in case there's any out there. You're just fun in you're fun personified, and I really appreciate the joy that you bring to your craft. And what people, I think people would really get a kick out of seeing the behind the scenes, and you're so good at. You've got a lot of people down, and you throw out these facts, and we see from some of our friends, it's like, hey, that was a good half marathon last weekend over at whatever, and I'm turning on the mic and I'm going, what the hell was that? What? Where did you get that from?
Rudy, I learned from the best.
Oh, no, you're ridiculous. It was, it's kind of off subject, but it was like the time I got to work with Mike Riley, voice of the Iron Man.
Best.
And absolutely phenomenal, and worked the Oceanside try. It was actually an Ironman at the time. It was quite a few years ago, and he invited me he just invited me to come over and enjoy it with him and kind of fill in with him. I wasn't working, but I was just it was great to be there, and I hadn't been in an Ironman before, and Mike's on a microphone, and he's just going through, and he's all, and here's so-and-so from Germany, and throwing out all these facts at a PR 2 months ago at Coeur d'Alene and all this. He's not looking at notes. Yeah. He's not. Now he's got notes. Mike's the consummate professional. He's looking at notes, but he's just spouting it all off. I'm watching. I want to catch him looking down at the notes. And you've got a lot of that same stuff, and everybody knows you're just fun. You're just fun. We
have a lot of fun together, and
we have a blast. We have a blast, and I think some of the inside banter would crack people up.
Yeah. And then on occasion we bicker, because on occasion Rudy tells me what to do. Like, I'll be talking to 10,000 people, and he'll come in and say, blah blah blah, do this, and I'm like, don't. Blah blah blah. We got called from a big store. I think it was Sally, who was like, "You guys are like an old married couple." But that's right?
Yeah. They're very true. Very true. Well, what I like is you've got your own style, which is just super professional and super fun. Your reviews are phenomenal, and hey, you're really going places. I love your media skills and your interviewing skills. You had Meb on, Mike Wardian, Dave McGilvray.
Rudy, this is about you. So I'm cutting you off on.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm gushing. Thank you. You're my BFF.
I will owe you forever for inviting me to be a part of this profession. And my favorite races are the ones I get to work with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, so lightning round. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Oh, no. I always laugh when I watch you do this with other people. All right, go ahead.
Okay, well, and before I get there, is there anything else you want to say about your sobriety or your lessons learned? I mean, golly, 35 years worth is spectacular. It's life-changing, not only for you, but all the people listening. So I don't want to diminish that and move past it too fast.
Well, of course you're not. I guess as I did on my post today on Facebook, there's all forms of addictions. I think in a family, it's 1 in 8. It's 1 in 8. So my mom and I talked about this. My mom, when she got sober, knew that the chances are, she has 6 children.
Yeah.
One of them is going to go down the same road. So of course I volunteered for that, or
Did any of your siblings?
I'm sorry?
Did your siblings?
A couple of them, actually, one of them has stumbled, but not, she has been able to get straight and get in. She's fine. She's done well. But addiction is something that almost everybody knows of somebody. And whether it's active addiction or someone in recovery, if it's someone in recovery, just give them all the respect in the world. You probably already are if you know they're in recovery. And if they're in active addiction, just know that there's hope. Try not to ever give up, as hard as that is, because they will test you. They will test your patience. They will go in the opposite direction virtually every time. But there is hope. And one of the main reasons we alcoholics and addicts celebrate our sobriety dates isn't for us. It's so other people know that the miracle actually happens. And that's really the most important message. It really does happen. It happens often. So
you feel like maybe there's a couple of other Yetis out there watching tonight?
Oh, you know what? I got so many private messages from people I had no idea. And just wonderful the way people share. Let me see, what's happened today. I've gotten from 6 months to, I've actually gotten better. I've gotten from 6 months to 25 and a half years, for people just, not commiserating, but congratulating me and sharing their own recovery. And I also know there are a couple out there that have touched base that are wondering about their own current situation. So if the seed is planted, just the thought, then that's a home run. You can get to one person.
Yeah. And you said very specifically before tonight, you said, if anyone needs help, if they want to reach out to you by a private message or Messenger, Facebook, whatever, they can do it.
Please do. I'm not by any means an authority of any kind. I'm someone who has managed to be successful with my own recovery for a very long period of time. So I think it's fair to say that I'm doing some of the right things, and I'd love to be of assistance. I'd love to share. There's no question that's out of bounds. So please, you can get to me on Messenger, or you can email me at announcerboy@hotmail.com. And I'm very responsive. I'd love to help or be an ear or do anything I can for anyone, either in addiction, in recovery, the family of anybody. So please, that would mean the world to me to be able to help.
Yeah. And Rudy's very sincere, where whenever I gush over his sobriety, he always takes credit for only the day he's on. He's really lived up to those tenets he's learned, and it's very impressive. He's more than a guy just trying to get through. But yeah, you're right. You can't be too cocky about any of this stuff, right?
No, it's and that's a great point, Fitz. Thank you for that. So many people have heard one day at a time. Which is a great way to live anyway. It's kind of perfection, one day at a time. But really, as far as our celebrating what's happened in the past, I just need to stay sober today. That's what I can't, I can celebrate. I can be proud of those days, but really it's about today. So just for today.
Wow. 45 today. Congratulations.
Thank
you.
I
love you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so grateful to be your friend.
Thanks, Fitz. That means the world to me. Let's go to Buffalo.
Yes, we're going to go to Buffalo. But before that, we're going back to the lightning round.
Back to the lightning round. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. I need another swig of water.
Hydrate.
What do you got?
Okay, so what's your favorite type of music?
I'm an extremely eclectic taste. I think I'm a hardcore rock person. I love country music, but in my heart of hearts, it's rock and roll.
And if you had to choose one singer, who is it? Who's your favorite performer?
Bruce Springsteen. I hate his wait a minute. I hate his politics, but I grew up. I literally grew up around him. I love the music. I love most of the messages. I hate his politics, but I love the rocker.
Fair enough.
Okay, thank you.
Now, if you were to listen to only one song as you ran a marathon over and over and over again, what song would that be?
U2's Haven't Found What I'm Looking For.
It's a great choice.
Oh, God. I have a long run history with that song, and it blew my mind on a 20-mile run. And I think, we talk about the runner's high. Mm-hmm. That song knocked me out. Just knocked me out.
Now you're such an emotional run and listen to cry.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. I was, yes. Oh boy, I can't believe you asked. When that happened, I was a mess. It was an absolute mess. It's something connected, and it was very cathartic.
Very cathartic. What is your bucket list race, the one you haven't done yet?
Oh, it's well, I know somebody that's training for it. I think in my heart of hearts, I'd really love to run the Boston Marathon. The truth is that I went to run my first Big Sur Marathon to qualify for Boston. I did. And Big Sur was so, and I think, as you know, it was just such an incredible experience. It was so spiritual for me. I'm sorry. It was just the most incredible experience. And because Boston is so close to Big Sur, I said, forget it, screw it, I'm coming back to Big Sur. So I did year after year after year after year. Every time I ran Big Sur, I qualified for Boston. And now, of course, we have Boston to Big Sur, because people are now crazy. We used to do 2 marathons a year, maybe 3.
Things have changed.
Yeah. 6, 10, every weekend.
For me, 1 per life.
Yeah, but we'll see about that. And I'm not necessarily, betting that you'll want to come back. But yeah, Boston and and the New Yorker, New Jersey boy in me thinks it would be pretty incredible to run New York as well. But you said 1, it would be Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's your Hollywood crush?
I think that was Farrah Fawcett. Oh, yeah. That little red one piece, I lost my mind.
Ay.
Ay.
Favorite vacation spot?
Well, I'm not very well traveled. Because I was in the resort industry and most of my clients were in Mexico, I fell in love with Cabo San Lucas, and I really enjoyed Cabo San Lucas, and I've been there an obscene number of times. I really enjoy Mexico. Puerto Vallarta, Cancun, Cozumel. So again, I have to specify though that I am not well traveled, and I love Cabo. If we're talking international, if we were talking within the United States, again, I'm not well traveled. I just love being in Monterey and Carmel, Big Sur. Oh, it's in my heart. It's in my soul. And it's just so beautiful and special. My daughter, Jenna, just went there and kept sending these pictures. And one was more wonderful. And you know what? It's a great place to loiter.
The best thing done. All right. So, technological thing. I don't know what's going on. Favorite healthy food?
I love salads. I'm a salad person. I eat salads more times during the week than I'd probably like to admit to. If pizza was a healthy food, I'd go with pizza. But you said healthy, so I'm going to stay with that.
My next question was your favorite food.
Pizza.
All right.
Pizza, ice cream. That's so bad. Yeah.
What next time you come on the show, you got to tell about the time we went to pizza.
Okay.
Not that we haven't gone to pizza a million times, but
Right.
I
Okay.
went to pizza.
All right.
Went
Okay.
What is your favorite thing to do, or favorite things to do besides running?
Well, scuba diving is that's right up there with running. I love to scuba dive. I became a certified scuba diver at age 12. My certification card actually has, I think, 4 digits, which means I'm really old. But my dad was a family vacation every year type of guy. It was religion, and we went to Puerto Rico, and my dad surprised me with scuba diving lessons, and I was hooked. I almost died. That's a side story. But I got through it, and that was it. Scuba diving there's something just, I'm clearly a water person, and there's something about just being immersed and sharing the ocean with the sea life that's out there, and just being underwater. It's magic. It's just, there's nothing like it.
But the new policy, as you pluck these very sweet, family-oriented lobsters from the ocean, is what do you have to do once you put them onto your boat?
Oh, I have to kiss them.
Okay.
Kiss you. I'm sorry.
That's right. I'm so sorry. One half of Team Noisy is super nice to animals. The other half plucks them from their little abodes.
I'm only mean to lobsters and a couple other little things. That's as you say, mean. Yeah. No, I love diving. It's just a whole nother world, and it's an escape. I think it's probably just healthy for me mentally too. It's just magic when you descend, and then all of a sudden the bottom opens up, and you can see everything that's out there, and fish are coming up to you. And I told you about a couple interesting incidences this last lobster season, but it's all good and it's all fun. Love to dive.
So for all our athletes who haven't seen you in over a year and miss you so much, what's your message to our runners that are watching?
Has this been the most sucky year it's just been terrible. You know what? I don't have a message. I have hope. I guess in my message is hope. And I really look forward to everyone getting back to what we do, what we love so much. For Fitz and I, it's announcing. I'd like to run a race or two myself. I have a medical situation. I'm going to have a hip transplant. Why do I say transplant? I'm going to get a new hip. I'm going to have a hip replacement on my right side in late July, and I'm hoping to recover quickly from that, and maybe and get real fit and do some racing and kind of get back to it. I guess what I'd really like to see is like to see people coming back, hard and fast. And I'd really like to see, I'd like to see people venturing out. And, we've got the races that we love. Fitz and I, particularly me, I talk about Big Sur all the time. It's, it's part of my core now. But it'd be so great there's so many other wonderful events out there. And,
right. Stuck on one.
Yeah.
Spend your money on one race. Go visit go visit new things, right?
Yeah, everybody. Many people I know have, they ask me as if I'm an authority. How do you like Chicago? How do you like New York? How do you like Boston? I said, I think I'd like them all.
Right.
So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But I really would, I think people just need to venture out and expand their horizons. Give yourself new opportunity, and let's just get back to it.
Okay, so speaking of getting back to it, two things. You're going to come back on the show, and we're going to actually talk about running.
Okay.
It's about you, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. We've talked about doing this for a few years, and I'm grateful we waited, so I had the technology stream, and everybody could see your happy face, and this is very meaningful, Rudy. So I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Fitz. I appreciate that.
And then I have a birthday gift for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Come on. And it's because I get to see you next week. I'm bringing out the Junior Puma.
Oh, there it is.
And a reminder, because I am the Grand
Poobah
Marathon, but Rudy is the Junior Poobah. So I've got your hat.
Thank you.
My luggage.
Now, hey, Fitz, of course, we're talking about the Buffalo Marathon. There are still spots available. Isn't that right?
If anybody wants to register for that race, they need to do it immediately, because there was apparently another race that was canceled in New York or Baltimore. So I don't know, somewhere up there, geography. But people are trying to get into Buffalo. So if anyone wants to run it, they need to get on it immediately. But if they can't run it, they can still come see us. I'm willing to hug non-registered runners. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm good for it. I think it's a great plan.
There's no hugging bandits, right? We can hug anyone.
We can. And I want to do some hugging. I'm vaccinated. Fitz is vaccinated. I know most of you out there are. We got to hug again. I want sweaty hugs.
I told you, I'm upping the ante. I'm bypassing hugs, and I'm going straight to kissing booth at the finish line.
No, we were back at that.
I'm going French kissing at the finish line for everybody, because I want the germs again. I'm ready for sweaty hugs and germy makeout sessions with strangers.
Hey, as I know you're starting to wrap this up, I just want to say thank you so much to all. There have been some wonderful comments on here, and to keep on subject, we haven't gone to a lot of them, but I just want to thank everybody. But there have been some really wonderful comments, and it's clear to Fitz and I that you really appreciate what we do, and that means the world to us, because you are, without you, we're just a couple mouths on the microphone, and we got nothing.
We got noise.
We got noise. So we both look forward very, very much to normalizing and getting to see you all. And I think Fitz's calendar is really starting to get some spots in there. And I'm adding things from time to time. And she's so much better than I am at letting you know where she's going to be. I'll do better this year. But please come see us. And again, you are family, and you mean the world to both of us. So thank you.
Yeah. Who wants to hear more from Rudy? This is the deal. I have access to that guy. He will do what I ask him or / tell him to do, because he yields to me. So if you have questions, if you want to talk to Rudy about anything, send me. Say, let's hear from Rudy on XYZ. He also is quite a bit of a guru on training advice. He's not claiming to have a degree or anything, but he is a wealth of information in the running industry. And we have some funny memories, and you have some funny memories. So just send them to me. Say, get Rudy on to talk about XYZ, and I will. Right, Rudy?
Perfect. I'm available, and I'd love to hear anything anybody wants to know or hear from me.
Okay. And if anyone wants to see more of Rudy, we're Team Noisy on Facebook. And then he's also on Facebook as, what's your name?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Rudy Novotny. Wow, it's a test. I'm glad I passed.
He doesn't do Instagram. He doesn't do YouTube. He doesn't.
Oh, yeah, I'm just lazy.
You're awesome.
Maybe this will be the year.
I love you very much. Thank you. Happy birthday. Congratulations.
Thanks, Fitz. Thanks, everybody. And see you at the races.
Bye, Noisy Media. And for the rest of you, if you haven't already done so, follow me over here. Where am I? Right, Rudy, point down like that. There you go.
Oh, right there. Right.
Listen, this Tuesday,
Look at that finger.
the 16th, I have Bear Son. I am Bear. I have an actual bear that has been roaming around California.
Oh, that's right.
My guest on the 16th, and I think that's in the evening. I should look at the time. I'm going to post the time, but the bear will be on the 16th, and that's 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern time, so 5 for Pacificers. And then on Thursday, I have Hotsy Totsy actor Colin Egglesfield from All My Children and a few big time movies, and he's actually the body on the Calvin Klein underwear packaging. He's pretty.
Yeah, I was going to say that guy's fit.
Yeah, he's fit. He's amazing, and he's really smart and nice, and he's an author. So, anyways, tune into the Fitzness Show this week. We probably can't top the Rudy interview, but I'm going to try. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
All right, you got to dance out.